I'm going to be honest enough to tell you that I'm worried about America. Yeah. I'm worried about our nation because it's sick with racism still. Just think about the fact that we live in a nation which was founded on the principle that all men are created equal. And yet men are still arguing over whether the color of a man's skin determines the content of his character. And I believe that the Lord told me to say to the United States of America that is sick with militarism and is sick with excessive materialism. Have you ever thought about it? There are between 38 and 50 million people in the United States of America who are poverty-stricken, making income less than the poverty level. And yet, this is the richest nation in the history of the world. Our national gross product this year will go beyond $800 billion. And yet, there are between 38 and 50 million people who are poverty-stricken. Now, there's something wrong. A lot of people are afraid to say it. But I don't mind saying it. You see, somebody said to me the other night, don't you think, Dr. King, you are going to have to start speaking more in terms of the administration's policy? Because since you started talking against the war in Vietnam, it's hurt the budget of your organization, and people who once respected you don't respect you anymore. And I had to look over and say, sir, I'm sorry, but you don't know me. I'm not a consensus leader. I don't determine what is right and wrong by looking at the budget of my organization, and I don't determine what is right and wrong by taking a Gallup poll of the majority opinion. And so, because there's something wrong, our struggle must continue. And what we must see is that our nation's summers of riots are caused by our nation's winters of delay.
All right. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good. This is I'm Ted King, and this is Mr. Casidy Barrows. We're here today. We're on this fine Martin Luther King birthday celebration. Mr. Casidy Barrows. Am I saying it right? Barrows, right?
Yeah, you're saying that right. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. My phone is acting up on me over here. We're celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday together, and we're going to be talking about several things. One of the things that we're going to be, collaborating and celebrating is the great Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and we're going to be talking about the climate of what's going on in America today, as well as just the relationship that we need to cultivate and manifest as we move forward, like the great Martin Luther King would have wanted us to do. And we're going to be playing some of his speeches. We'll be here for about an hour today, so you'll see over here on this side here, this is Mr. Casidy Barrows' Instagram. So follow him over there, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a second. And of course, that's Mighty King Media TV over here. Of course, we have Mouthpiece Sports as well on YouTube, and add my name YouTube, and of course, we have the website as well as all several platforms that you can find us on. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let Mr. Barrows go ahead and talk about what he's doing.
So yeah, I've been in the content game for a little over 3 years, trial and error, and my main purpose, my main goal was just to go ahead and just make content that helps people.
Absolutely.
And my genre is more self-improvement and more helping people realize to overcome shyness and social anxiety and addictions to maybe lust and things like that. That is like my main goal and purpose, and just to document that and to show that you can overcome these things with consistency, constant effort, and over time you really realize that pretty much a lot of things are inside your head and you're overthinking a lot, and there's a lot of opportunities out there that you really need to go and take a opportunity to go and take.
Absolutely, that's great. That's great. Well, that's a very admirable thing to do, to focus on in terms of self-improvement, to help other people self-improve. Um, of course, my relationship with Casidy, of course, I coached boxing at City College, and he was one of my boxing students. And I have to say, which is, I'm not just saying it, but he was the most improved boxer in the class. He was the most improved boxer in our boxing class, by the way. So he's dedicated to his efforts. I would have to say that, because when I first met you, Cassidy, I watched you, work out, and of course, we always introduce the class as everyone in the class
Yeah.
as a coach, right? Yeah. And so that's what we advocate, that you what you learn, you teach others in the class, and that's basically how the students get good faster. And I watched you, Cassidy, over there, getting, working your stuff, and I'm saying, oh, he's not good. Well, we'll see, but he doesn't
Yeah.
look like he's going to be picking this up as fast. But listen, by the time the finals came, Cassidy, you were ready, sir, and you impressed me. I mean, you were, in my opinion, it's my opinion, you were the most improved boxer
Yeah.
in the class. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, so you did a fantastic job with that. So you keep up the good work, sir. You keep, self-improvement, because I tell people all the time, especially when it comes to, because I've been boxing for a long time, and I like to, you know, talk to people about learning how to improve. It's a way of improving yourself, right? It's a way of, when you learn how to protect yourself, you learn how to protect yourself as well as others. And we have a confidence to say, okay, that you, when you make, you approach things in a civil way, without any confrontation. And that's one thing I like about boxing. There's a lot of respect value that you get in boxing. And that's what I like about it. That's one of the things I like about it. So what did you get out of the class?
Um,
Did you find any more confident?
yeah, learned lot more about discipline and being able to stay consistent with the fundamentals,
Okay, good.
and
Yeah,
that carries pretty much out into pretty much any new thing you try to go ahead and do a little bit, just
that's true.
staying consistent with the fundamentals.
That's true. Absolutely. Yeah, well, not just that. Here's what I always tell people. I say, you know what? It'll help you with your self-esteem. Not only will it help you with your self-esteem, but it will help you overcome your, your your doubt. The doubt that you have,
Yeah.
in terms of when it comes to relationships. When it comes to relationship, one thing I try to tell people, especially, for example, with your genre, self-improvement, and of course you say, and everybody has a little bit of, I use the word that you use, less, I mean, because we're spiritual beings. I do a channel on on the Bible, and we talk about that pretty much every Sunday at 2 o'clock on the King by the King. There's Kings and Priests, Biblical Agreements and Discourse. That's what the channel is called. And so we talk about that. And we yesterday we had, our topic was what was it? It was arranged marriages. Is it better to have an arranged marriage, or is it the typical way, how people are doing today, meeting people? So we had a good discussion on that yesterday. But to, some of the things that you're talking about, I tell people who are having, for example, a little bit of trepidation when it comes to approaching people, approach them like you would approach a friend. I'm talking about women, young ladies, whatever. You approach them the same way like you approach just a regular person. And when you talk about, for example, lust, when you approach in a lust, that's when you start tripping yourself up. When it's if you have a lust ideation. I mean, I'm not saying that you do, but that's when you have the approach is a little bit. It's not as it doesn't. It's not smooth. But when you talk to people like you would, and that's how we should be approaching people like friends, right? When you talk to people like they're friends, when you were, eye contact, how are you? Good to see you. All that. Trust me, it's more natural. It's more natural when it comes to things. I mean, it's like now we haven't got a chance to go to your. Your screen is up. We could go and listen to some of the things that you talk about, but but maybe I'll tell you what. If you got any questions, ask me now. If there's any questions that you may have about that situation, you can ask me. I can tell you all about it. I'm not saying that I just got a lot of experience. Okay, I would put it that way. And so, if there's any questions or anything, you can always talk. We're gonna do this. This is not the first time we'll do it, but we're gonna we're going to get to some of the videos, the Martin Luther King speeches, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to get back to this. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, Mr. Casidy Barrows, you can, and we'll come back after the video. If you don't have any questions now.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I got some questions. Like,
Sure,
what's been some of your hard lessons that you learned through the game?
Okay, when it comes to what relationships?
Yeah.
Or overall? Okay, well, when it comes to relationships, this is what I'll say. I will share this with you. I wasn't, I was when I was. Here's the thing about relationships. It's different for men, or guys and girls, right? Like, for example, I'm quite sure, you said, like, for example, you may be shy, you don't want to approach, but here's what you don't quite understand. Women, they do not walk up to you for the most part and approach you and say, hi, how you doing? They may say, hi, how you doing? But they don't walk up to you like a guy with, they expect, man is expected to take the lead and walk up, how are you? Good to see you, things of that nature. But what women do is they walk around you, right? They'll circle around you so you can see, so you can see them. They won't walk up to you and say hi, but what they'll do is they'll walk past you. They'll walk to where you can see them, right? And that's how you know how a woman is interested in you. I'll give you a good example. When I was I think I was about maybe I'm gonna say 13. I might have been 14. Okay, let me see. I was about 14 years old. Anyway, I was in junior high school at the time. I was in the 9th grade, and this young lady, she was in the 7th grade. And I used to always see her. I mean, every time I turn around, I would see her. Fast forward, when I went to 9th grade to the 12th grade, I went to another school and I seen her again. I would always see her. I would always see her. Now, some 40 years later, she approached me and she said, I always liked you, Ted. You couldn't tell? I said, no, how couldn't tell? How can I tell? She said, because I was always walking around you. I was always walking around you. You never noticed that? And I thought about that. And listen, I'm like, at the time, we're talking about some 40, 50 years later, right? And I'm thinking, wow, I do remember you walking around me all the time, you see? And this is what I'm saying. You never pay, you think that they're not interested. They're interested because they're walking past you all the time. That's what young ladies do. And that's one of the things that I learned later on, how the girls, they do not walk up to you and say, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. And I like, I think I like you. You might get some of that, but for most part, just walk around to see if you're interested in them, right? They're going to wait for you to approach them. See, and you know, because you asked the question of what have I learned in the game? Okay, I've learned in the game. I've learned a lot in the game. You know, my approach is very good. Okay, and my approach is always um, specific. You know, it's specific. It's not necessarily like, I'm how are you? Good to see you. I walk. How are you? Nice wave. You know, I may see somebody on way on the other side of the room. I think very attractive, and I wave. How you doing? So I can get a wave back. All kind of little different things, right? I mean, you know, once you understand that, you know, it's not that difficult when it comes to making contact. You have a tendency to be, you know, your approach is you're a lot more confident that things are going to work out well. In other words, things are not going to work out if you're standoffish, right? Because they want, in our case, men they want us to lead. And once you understand that, then you understand that you must show, because they're looking for the strongest. Irregardless of what people think, they're looking for the strongest guy, the guy with the most confidence. So when you show confidence and you feel self-assured, like for example, you had to show confidence when you were boxing in that final. That's what I liked. When I saw you boxing, I said he got confidence. He found his confidence, right? You know, I mean, because you're about boxing now, right? Yeah, you found somebody going to hit you. You're going to hit them. They're going to hit you. And you had the confidence to go in there, and you held your own way fantastically, by the way. And so once you find that, you understand, okay, I've overcome. So once you overcome, you understand, look, you know, they're circling around me, or she's circling around me. She's in where I can see in my view. So that's when you go ahead and say hello. You wave. You can be just wave, you know, see if she waves back. You know, I mean, I got a lot more to it than that, but I mean, that's just one thing. I mean, because most people don't understand the approach. You're right. They're afraid of the approach, right? But the approach could be at a distance. It could be you can eye contact from, you know, like you could be on the light rail and you'll see her and she's over there. You just make eye contact. She locks. You're good, right? And then you wave and you make sure you know before you know how you doing. Like you know, I like your dress. I like it. You know, I like your whatever. You know, you just give her a compliment, right?
Yeah.
You always want to. This is what you always want to do. Now I'm telling you, I had a person that was, you know, we were doing a little bit of this relationship type thing, and she said, "Well, Ted, you need to be telling people." I said, "I'm not telling them nothing. I mean, but I'm gonna tell you. You want to lead, and then you want to encourage whoever you are with to allow you to do so, to allow you to lead. You reward them when they do, and then you refuse them when they don't. If you can understand that, because you have to make sure that you're going to do the right thing. You know, you can't be leading people, you know, this is with good intention. As long as you're doing that, those four things: lead, encourage them to follow, reward them when they do, refuse them when they don't, then you're going to be just fine. So with that being said, let's go ahead and we're going to look at a little bit of you know, more of
M.L.K.
M.L.K. We're going to see if we can't embrace some of the teachings that M.L.K. taught us all, right? You know, with his and of course we're going to be looking at not just M.L.K. but another great leader, Malcolm X, right? A little different. They were a little bit different, but they were both great leaders. So we're going to go to that. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about it.
The white man pays Reverend Martin Luther King, subsidizes Reverend Martin Luther King, so that Reverend Martin Luther King can continue to teach the Negroes to be defenseless. That's what you mean by nonviolent. Be defenseless. Be defenseless in the face of one of the most cruel beasts that has ever taken the people into captivity. That's just the American white man. And they have proved it throughout the country by the police dogs and the police clubs. 100 years ago, they used to put on a white sheet and use a bloodhound against Negroes. Today, they have taken off the white sheet and put on police uniforms. They've traded in the bloodhounds for police dogs, and they're still doing the same thing. And just as Uncle Tom, back during slavery, used to keep the Negroes from resisting the bloodhound or resisting the Ku Klux Klan by teaching them to love their enemy or pray for those who use them despitefully. Today, Martin Luther King is just a 20th century or modern Uncle Tom or a religious Uncle Tom who is doing the same thing today to keep Negroes defenseless in the face of attack that Uncle Tom did on the plantation to keep those Negroes defenseless in the face of the attack of the Klan in that
Well,
day.
I don't think of love as, in this context, as emotional bosh. I don't think of it as a weak force, but I think of love as something strong and that organizes itself into powerful direct action. Now, this is what I tried to teach in the struggle in the South, that we are not engaged in a struggle that means we sit down and do nothing. That there's a great deal of difference between non-resistance to evil and non-violent resistance. Non-resistance leaves you in a state of stagnant passivity and deadened complacency, wherein non-violent resistance means that you do resist in a very strong and determined manner. And I think some of the criticisms of nonviolence, or some of the critics, fail to realize that we are talking about something very strong, and they confuse non-resistance with nonviolence.
The goal of Dr. Martin Luther King is to give Negroes a chance to sit in a segregated restaurant beside the same white man who had brutalized them for 400 years. The goal of Dr. Martin Luther King is to get Negroes to forgive the people who have brutalized them for 400 years by lulling them to sleep and making them forgetting what those whites have done to them. But the masses of black people in America today don't go for what Martin Luther King is putting down. As you said in one of your articles, it's psychologically insecure, or something of that sort. I forget how you put it. But you didn't endorse what Martin Luther King was doing yourself.
I do not reject his goals of full integration and full equality rights for American citizens. Do you reject these goals?
If you don't think that he's walking on the right road, I'm quite sure you don't agree.
Most Americans are law-abiding citizens who want to do what is right. This is why the Civil Rights Act relies first on voluntary compliance, then on the efforts of local communities and states to secure the rights of citizens. It provides for the national authority to step in only when others cannot or will not do the job. This Civil Rights Act is a challenge to all of us to go to work in our communities and our states, in our homes and in our hearts, to eliminate the last vestiges of injustice in our beloved country. So, tonight I urge every public official, every religious leader, every business and professional man, every working man, every housewife, I urge every American to join in this effort to bring justice and hope to all our people and to bring peace to our land. My fellow citizens, we have come now to a time of testing. We must not fail. Let us close the springs of racial poison. Let us pray for wise and understanding hearts. Let us lay aside irrelevant differences and make our nation whole. Let us hasten that day when our unmeasured strength and our unbounded spirit will be free to do the great works ordained for this nation by the just and wise God, who is the Father of us all. Thank you and good night. Joe?
Manny, Speaker McCormick first. Speaker first.
Thank you.
I'll be out of your bed. I think we ought to move out. Yeah, my friend.
Good poacher, right?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, we did better today than we did the other day.
Bill?
So,
Congratulations. Thank you for everything. I'll be sitting there. Manny?
Manny, should we move on?
For Tommy. Tommy? Tommy, attaboy.
Well, we ought to move on. Yeah? Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Let's go this way. Bill?
Charlie, you got one?
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. I appreciate your encouragement. Thank you, Mr. President. Pick up one of those. The President does the job.
They will always talk it, but they won't practice it. And with the Supreme Court, if the NAACP can tell me that they want a desegregation decision for me 10 years ago, but yet the schools haven't been desegregated, as I say, this is a victory with no victory. It's a victory that you can talk about, but it's a victory you can't show me. So if you represent the NAACP and you're telling me about this great victory you won for me, when I look at you, I have to conclude that either you have been duped yourself or else you are trying to dupe me. And in most instances where the civil rights struggle is involved, there is no civil rights leader can point to me one concrete gain, practical gain that black people have made in the civil rights field in this country, not only during the past 10 years, but during the past 100 years.
I don't think there's any real organization to the riots. I think they grow out of the conditions that I've mentioned all along. And as long as these intolerable conditions are there, as long as the Negro finds himself living every day in a major depression, then every city will sit on a powder keg and can explode over the slightest incident. I feel that killing is a very tragic way to deal with any social problem. There is no violent solution to the problem that the Negro confronts in this country, and this is why I have constantly said that riots are socially destructive and self-defeating. After all, the Negro ends up on the losing end. We can't win a violent revolution. Most of the persons killed in riots are Negroes themselves. The persons who end up not being able to get milk for their children are Negroes because things where they have to live are destroyed. So there's no practical or moral answer in the realm of violence to the Negro's problem. But I do understand the sociological, the psychological, and the economic reason.
The problem can be solved. First, the white man and the black man have to be able to sit down at the same table.
The white man has to feel free to speak his mind without hurting the feelings of that Negro. And the so-called Negro has to feel free to speak his mind without hurting the feelings of the white man. Then they can bring the issues that are under the rug out on top of the table and take an intelligent approach to get the problem solved. That's the only way that they'll ever do it. We need an action program while we are Muslims, and while we are Christians, or while we are whatever we are. We still need an action program that will eliminate these evils that are in our community. And this is what we're trying to do with the Muslim Mosque Incorporated.
Do you consider yourself militant?
I consider myself Malcolm.
Well, I think we have to agree that this appears to be the result of an internal conflict within the black nationalist movement. So I think the first thing that needs to be done is for a conference of goodwill to take place between black nationalist leaders. This was why I suggested a few days ago that the followers of the late Malcolm X and the followers of Elijah Muhammad should sit down at the peace table together, so to speak, and discuss this problem and try to reach some understanding. I don't think, and I'm sure, that nothing can be accomplished by violence. It only leads to new and more complex social problems. I think it is unfortunate for the black nationalist movement. I think it is unfortunate for the health of our nation.
Maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
All right. So that was Martin Luther King's last speech before he was assassinated. And so yeah, did you have any questions, Mr. Barrows, on that video?
Yeah, I guess I got a couple just thinkings and just getting chances to hear it a little bit. And like I've been exposed, I've been knowing about this stuff through high school and stuff like that has been taught and stuff like that.
Here's the question. Do you know who Lyndon Baines Johnson is?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
he was the vice president of Kennedy at one point, but
Yeah,
became the main
yeah,
president.
correct. Do you recall seeing him in the video?
Yeah, he was the guy signing the civil rights bill.
That's exactly right. Absolutely. And he was the guy signing the civil rights bill. Uh, he was coughing, so he had actually had cancer at that particular time. But yeah, he was the one signing the civil rights bill, and of course he turned around and he was giving pens away to all the people who helped him with the bill, and he also gave Martin Luther King a pen as well. Um, so Martin Luther King was in right there, when the civil rights bill was signed into law, and of course now in what we have in our fabric, the fabric of our country today is they want to disassemble the civil rights bill. Now they want to take it, they're trying to get rid of it. Basically, what they're trying to do, and so this is what's going on in our country today. We're actually regressing. We're not progressing. And oh, by the way, now that civil rights bill wasn't just for Black people. It was for women. A lot of women, uh, you know, that bill helped a lot of women, right? Planned Parenthood, et cetera. All these other things that were going in that they don't talk about. It wasn't just for Black people. It was for all the people. So they made sure it was for everybody. It wasn't just targeted for Black people. That was not the case. And so now that we have this situation going on in our country today, um, it's. Well, what do you think about that, sir? Because you're a young man, got lots of life left. you know, you will be running. You'll be part of the ones who will be running this country in the near future, sir. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess some of the things like in my journey of spirituality and stuff like that, and kind of realizing that darkness is kind of associated with the wrong things.
Mhm.
In terms of like spirituality, darkness could be like
Okay.
a subconscious thing. So that
Okay.
could be more on the femininity side. So woman, and unfortunately through religious interpretations and interpreting wrong, that putting Black people and women in more so the bad category.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, let me interject for just a second, because you said uh, Black people and women, putting them in the bad category, right? Now we're talking biblically now, right? We're talking about biblically. Um, in the Bible, it clearly says, right, that Eve was deceived, Adam wasn't. So that pretty much eradicated her from causing, from her part. This is in the Bible now. We're talking about spiritually, right? In the Bible, with clarity, Eve, it says Eve was deceived. Okay, so Eve, when it comes to women, these women, putting a lot of all this whatever's going on in today biblically on a woman, that's not true. Okay, because biblically it says that's not how it planned itself out. And as far as Black people are concerned, uh, sir, it is it's there is evidence, clear evidence that Jesus Christ looked more like you than Donald Trump. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real, right? Yeah, this is biblically. This is biblically, right? Because when you go to the Bible, and you in the King James version, and this is the King James version, right? The King James version, when you go to Genesis, I want to say Genesis 2, 10 through 15 clearly says that Adam was in the land of Ethiopia. God put Adam in Ethiopia, in the land of Ethiopia. You know what Ethiopia is?
South Africa?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So that's where Adam was, right? And the Bible is clear that Jesus looked like you, sir. Yeah, that's what Jesus looked like. So all this here stuff, and this is another thing, right? Martin Luther King didn't know that. Had Martin Luther King, when he had the I Had a Dream speech, walked up there with that Bible, waving it around, talking about these are my people. This Bible's about my people, people that look like me, right? They have been fearful in the assassination of him, right? Now, Martin Luther King lived longer on the earth than Malcolm X did. Did you know that? Malcolm X got assassinated before Martin Luther King did. Did you know that?
Yeah.
The guy in the video, Malcolm X, he was assassinated before King got assassinated, right?
Yeah.
It was a setup, but it wasn't the same type of way because it appeared that people that look like Malcolm is the one who shot him, right? But there's other implications with it's just going to take longer than an hour for me to explain it to you. But I just want to make sure that you understood based on that your comment and your understanding. I just want to let you know that Adam and Jesus look more like you, if that makes sense. It's biblical. You need to
Yeah.
go watch some of the kings and priests biblical agreements and Discord videos, and you'll see where we talk about that. Just so you know. Now, yeah. So we got you can you can make the the they want you to make that argument that or have that understanding that that you don't know who you are. In other words, sir, that's coming out. All that's coming out. If that makes sense, But I just want to let me ask you a question. Do you have a Bible in front of you?
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about it. You don't have to, because we want to. Anytime I talk spiritual, I like to make sure I have a Bible to kind of back it up. If that makes sense. But you can look it up. You can, like I said, you can go to Kings and Priests, Biblical Agreements and Discourse, and I talk about all the things that we're talking about right now. Just so you know that that woolly hair you got. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's go to quickly. I'm gonna go to the next video where Martin Luther King is talking, and we'll continue on with the conversation. Okay.
In the final analysis, the only way people can grapple with their prejudices is to admit that they have them. And so often people don't realize they have them. And so often people don't realize or honestly acknowledge that there is a problem. And it is necessary in the nonviolent movement to bring the issue to the surface so that people are forced to deal with it and to deal with their conscience on.
Okay, so he's basically saying that people need to come together and deal with these prejudices, right? Like, for example, when he started talking about, women are the problem or, people of color are the problem, these things, they need to sit down at the table. And by the way, let me explain something to you, sir. In 1950, 90% of America was Caucasian. Did you know that? You there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I don't think Mr. Barrows can hear me. Can you hear me, sir?
Let me see.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to charge my phone right now, my bad.
Don't worry about it, sir. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Listen, you can watch this back. But I just want to let you know that a lot of these issues that are going on is going to be your generation, sir. Your generation is going to make the change. Your generation. It'll be you guys who are going to, have opportunity to set this stuff right, if that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to do. You need to go ahead and understand you need to do your research as the reason why this situation with Donald Trump and this movement that they got trying to stop history, for example, Black history, taking down these historical landmarks and calling it Donald Trump or whatever he's trying to call it, And so these are the things that you need to understand, so if that makes sense, And yeah, you need to know exactly what's going on. But this is old. The footage that you saw is old footage, sir. But it's history, and the history is what you should understand and try to get. Because both leaders, both Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, were fantastic leaders. Okay, fantastic leaders. A little bit different. One was Muslim, the other one was a Christian, but still had the, matter of fact, Malcolm X, before he passed away, he wasn't talking like he was talking, in the tapes. He was more so talking like bringing people together of all colors. So his whole thing changed, and that's when they killed him. See, so I mean, when you start looking at things and understanding what's going on, especially what's going on in society today, open up your eyes and see what's happening, and understand that it is a spiritual warfare going on. It is spiritual. It is definitely spiritual. It is definitely spiritual. But rest assured, the Bible said with clarity in Daniel 2:44 that God's gonna prevail. All this stuff that's going on, God's gonna take. This is spiritual. We're doing spiritual warfare now, right? Daniel 2:44 changes, says that that the Almighty God is gonna take care of all this falsehood, this stuff that's going on, and this is part of it. I'm just, since you're talking, we're talking, biblically, I just want to let you know what's going on, sir, because I want you to understand that when it comes to the Bible, I'm a good boxing teacher, I'm a good boxing teacher, but I might be a better Bible study teacher than I am a boxing teacher, to be honest with you. Because I talk about the Bible every Sunday at 2:00. Oh, I like the little cat, man. Cool little cat. What's his name?
His name is Pepper.
His name is who?
Pepper.
Pepper?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I got a question for you, sir. Are you trying to what's the word? Well, let me ask you this question, sir. Without being, I'm just gonna say it. Are you trying to find a spiritual woman? Is that what your your thought process is? Find a woman who's spiritual, or I mean, I'm asking because we're talking about relationships.
Yeah, I'll say that. That could be a little bit
You
part
say
of
that?
my goal. Yeah, I can say it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not a hard thing to do. You need to understand. You need to read the Bible. You know that, right?
Yeah.
you need to understand the Bible, because basically, when you understand the Bible and what it says, they appreciate that, right? Tremendously. So, I mean, if you're looking for a spiritual woman, then you need to read that book. Yeah, that's what you need to do. I mean, because you really, you need to understand, what's, how, because it's for sure some things that need to be understood when you start navigating yourself around spirituality.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you seen one of our Bible classes. I mean, our Bible
Yeah.
videos. Yeah. So you don't know which one you saw?
I think it was the one about Adam and Eve. No.
But Adam and Eve?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you remember about that video?
I only watched like maybe 2 minutes of it, maybe.
Okay. So you didn't watch very much of it.
But you were talking about the original origins, or he
Well,
was.
I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. What. I just know that I just know what you say. I mean, I don't know which one it was about. I mean, there's a lot of them.
Who's your most recent one?
Most recent one? Okay. Yeah. One of the most recent ones. Okay. Let me see what was one of the most recent ones. Let me take a look over here. I'm gonna take a look, sir, and I'm gonna tell you which one it could have been. And we're gonna take a look at it a little bit because I'm interested in. You kind of piqued my interest a little bit now because we do a lot of videos, or I do a lot of videos, and a lot of the videos that I do. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Okay, so we got one on. I don't know. We know what. This is what we're gonna do. Maybe next time we do it, we'll take a look at them. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take a look. We'll take a look at them. See which one you're talking about, and we'll see if we can talk about it a little bit further, right? Because I mean, I hear what you're saying, and it kind of interests. I'm kind of interested because I want you to understand certain things. Number one, you'll do a lot better all the way around when you know what the book says. I promise you will. You do a lot better in life, and you will definitely navigate yourself into a good relationship if you do. I'm just kidding. I'm keeping it real with you. So, we'll talk about spirituality for sure, because that's what I do. That's my main thing. Talking spiritual. You come to the right place. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Especially when it comes to understanding relationship. It's all in the book, right? There's more than just, there's original writings, and there's writings in the Bible that have been put in there, and writings that's been taken out, and we talked about in some of those videos as well. And so, these are things like, you can join us on Tuesday at 2:00 at
Sunday?
Huh?
On Sundays or which days?
On Sundays, yeah. What Sunday?
Yeah.
Sunday. Are you working on Sunday at 2:00?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm usually there, but if you're there, I could maybe drop by a little bit.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. Right. If I'm over here, you drop by, and we'll be, talking. I'll talk to you about. But follow those videos. I promise you,
Yeah.
It's gonna change your life. It's gonna definitely help you out. Okay, it's gonna definitely help you out. It's gonna be eye awakening. It'll get you give you some clarity, right? Clarity and some understanding. We got one more video left. The video is only about 24 seconds long. and but it's impactful, right? Because this woman is talking. She's no, as a matter of fact, she's an advocate of Martin Luther King. Every time she talks about Martin Luther King, she breaks down in tears. That's how much she loved Martin Luther King. This next lady, and you can find on the internet. She's a very, very good woman. I'm talking about a very good woman. She's a very good woman. She tells it like it is. She's an educator. Okay, she's an educator, and I always like to show this one clip of her speaking because she is so impactful, and she's brave and she's very courageous. In the way she talks and what she says, and she tells it like it is. And I'm going to show you the video. We're going to play the video, and then we're going to be 30 seconds, and then that's the end of our show for today. But I will get with you, sir, and we will make sure you get the footage on this hour-long show we had. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
This actually, this show actually was called a little bit different than the Kings and Priests. It's Enjoying Life with Ted King is what it's called. Enjoying Life with Ted King, and that's what you'll see at the beginning of the video. It's called Enjoying Life with Ted King. You see Enjoying Life, and then you see a picture of me. So I appreciate you coming on, Mr. Barrows. We will get in contact after we sign off. I'm gonna call you up. We get together and see if we can't plan our next show together. And and see where you got some time, because you're a special guy. You're a special man. Okay, and you're gonna do well in life. Yeah, you're gonna do good in life. So you're gonna do much better than me. Yeah, and you're gonna do just fine. So with that being said, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go and we'll probably close the show out in about a minute. We're gonna close the show. And we're going to get together, and I will call you up, or you stay on when the show is over with, and we'll get together.
Look, boys and girls, the only reason there are white people is because black people came here first, and they faded as they moved farther and farther north from the equator. Their melanin faded so that their skin, their hair, and their eyes got lighter. Their brains didn't get smaller, but their skin, their hair, and their eyes got lighter. That's the only reason you children can call yourselves white. And you aren't white. We are all